Philippines Network, Radyo Ronda, DZBS Baguio, member kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Manipod kada Engineer Melchor S. Licoben, General Manager, Attorney Esteban A. Sumngi, Board President, Director Luke B. Gumeac, Vice President, Director Enrique S. Moresto, Secretary, Director Josephine B. Tuling, Treasurer, Director Robert L. Valentin, Auditor, Director James B. Aclopen, PRO, Members, Director Rocky M. Aliping, Director Peter B. Bosaing, Director Mike W. Maspil, Director Jeffred S. Acop, Father Jonathan C. Obar, Ken Tisibubukel a Pamilya Tibenguet Electric Cooperative. Kablaawan da kayo amin iti na isang sangaya na Pasko ken naragsak abaro atawan.
RPN Radio Philippines Network, Radyo Ronda, DZBS Baguio, member kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Programa abinukel iti Department of Education, Division of Benguet, tapno agtultuloy nga maipaayan ti adal, dagiti patpatgen ken dungdungwen tayo nga anak, nga agbasbasa, uray ita agdama a pandemya.
Ayasak
Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Na isang sangaya na programa iti radyo, nga pakaitampukan iti napateg nga ad-adal. Ad-adal nga mainaig iti panagbasa ti anak tayo, ama ibinsa-binsa, babaen iti panangipalpalawag, dagiti nasisirib ken nasasariri nga manursuro. Isuda, dagiti mamaestra ken mamaestro tayo, iti DEP-ED Benguet, nga inkay makadkadwa iti tangatang.
Ayasak
Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Alang arod, patpatgan mi nga masansanay, agbasbasa, ken papagayam, awisan mi amin da kayo adungeg iti daytoy nga programa. Ket kabayatan tin kay panagdengdengeg, ipaayan mi da kayo ti umdas ken naan-anay nga impormasyon wenno pakaammo amang iwanwan iti inkay panang sungbat kadagiti na idatag nga saludsod ken aktibidades iti learning modules yo.
Ayasak
Di Kabenguetan.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.
Isagsagot kada kayo iti Department of Education, Division of Benguet, ken daytoy nga istasyon.
Ayasak
Di Kabenguetan.
Di Kabenguetan.
If your answer is letter D, then you are correct. Number 2. Ice cubes, when heated, are changed to A. Solid, B. Liquid, C. Gas, D. No change at all. If your answer is letter B, then you're doing great. Number 3. When cooled, melted chocolates are changed to A. Solid, B. Liquid, C. Gas, D. No change at all. If your answer is letter A, then you are awesome. Number 4. A candle will melt under what condition? A. When it is not used, B. When it is heated, C. When it is cooled, D. When it is not kept in a box. If your answer is letter B, you are good. Number 5. Which of these will happen to a material that is placed under the sun? A. Its temperature will remain the same. B. Its temperature will disappear. C. Its temperature will increase. D. Its temperature will become low. If your answer is letter Z, you are amazing. Now, let us then try to discover things by doing it. However, be reminded always of the safety precautions when doing the activities. Here are some of them. What do you think will happen? An ice cube over the flame in a tin can. Crayons placed over the flame or lighted crayon. Lighted candle. Chocolate, margarine, or butter on a heated pan. Yes, the ice cubes, butter, chocolates, lighted candle, and crayons will melt and become liquid. We call this process melting. Melting is a physical process that results in changing a substance from a solid to a liquid. This occurs when the inner energy of the solid increases by the application of heat or pressure, which increases the substance's temperature to the melting point. What about if these materials will be cooled? Correct. They will freeze. We call this process freezing. Freezing is a physical change where a liquid turns into a solid when its temperature is lowered below its freezing point. In accordance with the internationally established definition, freezing means the solidification phase change of a liquid or the liquid content of a substance, usually due to cooling. When ice cubes, chocolates, butter or margarine, crayon, and candles are heated, they change their size, shape, and texture. They change from solid to liquid. When cooled, these materials change back to its form from liquid to solid. This change their size, shape, and texture too. We must not forget to practice precautionary measures in handling heated objects as well, for this may cause burns or scalds. Heated cooking utensils like pans must not be touched with bare hands. Always use pot holders when touching or holding them. Lighted candles must not be placed near combustible materials, for this may cause destructive fires. Materials that melt easily like chocolate, butter, or margarine when heated should not be placed in hot places to avoid wastage. Remember to keep these materials in a cool, dry place to maintain its size, shape, and texture. Now, let us proceed with your activity. Identify the changes that materials undergo by filling in the blanks with the correct word to complete the sentences. Choose your answers from the box and write them in your activity notebook. Numbers 1 to 4. A crayon may change its blank, 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 and blank when heated. The answers are size, form, texture, and shape. Numbers 5 to 6. A chocolate changes its form from blank to blank when heated. The answer is from solid to liquid. Numbers 7 to 8. When cooled, Butter or margarine changes its form from blank to blank? The answer is from liquid to solid. Numbers 9 to 10. Temperature of a heated material like candle is blank. But when cooled, its temperature is blank. The answers are increased and decreased. I believe you learned a lot from the different activities. Continue being open to learn one new things, because if you don't learn, you don't grow. Now, it's time for you to do the assessments. Follow the written directions in your module. After which, answer also what I can do and additional activities. Follow strictly the written instructions. With that, thank you and have a great day.
Hello, learner! Are you excited for today's lesson? I am Teacher Judilyn and I will be your teacher for today. Come, let's learn together. Before we start the lesson, you have to accomplish first the pre-test or what I know part. This is just a simple task that you need to do before learning the importance of practicing the 5 R's. The lessons and activities provided in this module were developed to help you become hands-on and minds-on learners. The activities that you are going to do can help you learn the essential science concepts and skills through learning by doing. The activities are fun, simple, yet allow you to think critically. In this module, developed by Ma'am Connie Marie W. Salapio, we will learn to explain the advantages of practicing the 5 R's. Second, enumerate importance of practicing the 5 R's. And design a product made out of local recyclable, solid, and or liquid materials in making useful products. As you go through this module, here are some reminders for you. First, read the lessons carefully. Second, be watchful of the instructions in the activities. Third, answer all the given tests and exercises. You have learned in the previous lesson the 5 R's techniques in waste management. Now, let us see if you still remember the 5 R techniques. Write the 5 R technique which is being described. Number 1. Involves harnessing energy from waste through certain processes. Number 2. Lessening the amount of waste in the environment. Number 3. Fixing slightly broken things to make them useful again. Number 4. Involves the creation of a new product from waste materials. And number 5. Using the same material again for a similar purpose. The answer for number 1 is recover. For number 2 is reduce. For number 3 is repair. Number 4 is recycle. And number 5 is reuse. Did you get that all correctly? If you got all answers correct, that is a good start. So, after knowing the 5 R's, let's learn about the importance of practicing the 5 R's. Let us first read the poem. Saving Humanity, composed by Ma'am Connie Marie W. Salapio. It is our duty to save humanity, protecting, preserving and conserving our energy. Loving nature exceedingly. Stop throwing trash irresponsibly. Try to practice the 5 R's effectively. Reduce, reuse, recycle, recover, and repair every day. Then you will see a world full of beauty for you and for me and for the whole humanity. Did you enjoy reading the poem? What is the poem about? Managing waste is indeed everyone's responsibility. For us to create a clean and beautiful world, we all have to practice 5 R's conscientiously. To further understand the lesson, let's answer the following questions. Number 1. What do you think will happen to the environment if you know how to manage your waste? Yes, the environment will be clean and beautiful, and it will become a better place to live in. Number 2. What would be some possible effects of improper disposal of garbage to our environment? Correct. Air, water, and land pollution will arise. Destruction of nature, and it can harm our health. Did you get everything right? That's great. When you throw away a material, you just remove it from your house or backyard, but it does not really disappear. Shape or form might change, but it is still present somewhere else. The more waste materials we discard, the more trash will pile up, and eventually, environmental problems will arise and will affect us in many disadvantageous ways. Thus, we need to practice the 5 R's. The following are the importance of practicing the 5 R's. Number 1. Reduction of waste disposed in landfills. Decreased number of environmental problems. Having a cleaner and more beautiful environment. Reduction of the number of diseases that may affect both plants and animals and even human beings. Creation of opportunities for people to earn money. Recovery of energy, compost, biogas. And saves energy and preserves our natural resources. With these many advantages, let us start practicing the 5 R's now. Managing waste is everyone's responsibility, so we can live in a beautiful world. It is our duty to protect, preserve, and conserve our environment. Now, let's try to answer all the following activities for you to further understand why we need to practice the 5 R's. Choose and encircle the letter of the correct answer. Number 1. Aling Celia went to the grocery store to buy shampoo. She noticed that there are shampoos in sachet and in big containers. Can you help Aling Celia decide what to buy? Letter A. Small sachets of shampoo because it prevents excessive use of a product. Letter B. Shampoos in big containers because we can recycle the container and make it into a new product like decorations. In this way, we can reduce the amount of waste. Letter C. Buy what is cheaper. And letter D. Buy the shampoo which you can see in commercials. Your answer should be letter B. Number 2. Julio has done spring cleaning and has found out that there are a lot of his clothes that do not fit him anymore, but are still in good condition. Will you help Julio decide what will he do with the clothes? Letter A. Burn the clothes. Letter B. Dump it in the dumpster because it will not fit you anyway. Letter C. Donate it to some organizations that conduct relief operations during calamities. And letter D. Store it in the attic. Your answer should be letter C. Number 3. Mang Ramon noticed that there are a lot of plastic containers scattered in their backyard. He collected it and piled it in their garage. One morning, his wife asked him to go to the farm supply and buy flower pots for her to plant the flowers she bought. Suddenly, Mang Ramon had an idea. What do you think is Mang Ramon's idea? Letter A. Mang Ramon will recycle the plastic containers and make a flower pot out of it. In this way, he had helped the environment and saved money. Letter B. Mang Ramon will use the money to buy his necessities. Letter C. Mang Ramon will go buy flower pots in the farm supply. Or letter D. None of the above. What do you think is the best answer? Correct! It's letter A. Number 4. Aling Mila works at the barangay hall. Every morning, as she passes by a few stores, she notices scattered plastic bottles and tin cans. How can you help Aling Mila solve such problems on trash? Letter A. Do not mind the scattered garbage and walk straight to the barangay hall. Letter B. Make a notice of closure to the stores and let the barangay captain sign it. Letter C. Conduct a barangay assembly and remind the people of the community to fix, collect, and bring the recyclables like the plastic bottles and tin cans in the Materials Recovery Facility or MRF. Or letter D. Report them to the police station. What do you think is the best answer? Correct! It's letter C. Number 5. Mang Jose's children like to watch movie. One afternoon, his child shouted that their TV is broken. Mang Jose went to see what is the problem. Their TV's audio is working, but it does not show any image. What will Mang Jose do to fix the problem? Letter A. Mang Jose will throw it and buy a new one. Letter B. Mang Jose will bring the TV to the repair shop and let it be repaired. Letter C. Mang Jose will scold his children. Or letter D. Mang Jose will not buy a TV. Your answer should be letter B. If you answered questions 1 to 5 correctly, then you did a good job. Learning is fun, is it not? Now, I want you to continue answering the activities and assessment. Do it one after the other. If there are some activities which you could not answer, you can go back to the lesson. It could help you perform the activities. If you have some questions, ask the help of your parents or guardians, or even your siblings. You can also text, call, send message in Messenger to your teacher. Again, read and understand the directions. Good luck! Just enjoy and have fun in learning, and have a wonderful day.
Good day, learner, parent, and guardian. Welcome to our science class. I am Teacher Jen, and I will be your teacher for this module. Today, we will be learning another ways of separating mixtures. Are you excited? Then let's begin. After going through this module, you are expected to identify the differences of physical manipulation and evaporation, classify mixtures that can be separated through physical manipulation and evaporation, and explain their importance. I am sure you are excited to get started with this module. However, there are things that you need to remember for you to learn the most of this module. First, take the pre-test before proceeding to the lessons. Your score in the test will give you the idea on how much time you need to devote to each lesson. Second, read the instructions and bear in mind some precautionary measures when doing experiments. Third, before doing the activities, make sure that the materials are already prepared. Fourth, answer the exercises and assessment activities and compare your answers with the key for correction. Fifth, make sure to answer the post-assessment for you to measure how much you have learned from the module. And lastly, make this module free from any marks. For the parents and guardians, please guide and assist your child while doing the activities found in this module. Take time to watch this video with your child to be able for you to assist him or her in his or her learnings. Feel free to contact the teacher of your child for clarifications regarding the contents of this module. I am looking forward for your participation and active involvement for the attainment of the objectives of the lesson. Learner, let's find out how much you know about the lesson by answering the pre-test in What Can I Do part on page 3 of your module. Read and understand every question before choosing your answer. After you have answered this part, you compare your answers with the answer key found on page 14. If you got a score of 10, you may not proceed with this module, but you are still encouraged to go through the activities. If you got a score of 9 and below, take 50 minutes each day to read the lesson and answer the activities that are given. Let us check how much you mastered our past lesson. Tell me if what I say is true or false. Are you ready? First, filtration is used to separate solid component from liquid component in a mixture. Is this true or false? Very good. True. Second, filtration is used to separate the components of solid mixtures. Is this true or false? Very good. False. Third, sieving uses strainer to separate components of mixtures. Is this true or false? Nice one. True. Fourth, sieving is used to remove dust from the air we breathe. Nice one. False. Lastly, the purpose of sieving is to separate bigger components from smaller ones using a strainer, screen, or mesh. True. Very good. I am glad you understood what we have learned in the past module. Now, I believe you are ready for the next lesson. For you to clearly understand what the new lesson is all about, try to do the activities in the What's New part on page 5. Prepare all the materials you need before you proceed. Ask the assistance of your elder siblings or your parents in doing these activities. Write all your observations in your answer sheet. How did you find the activities? Have you learned something new? The activities you just did are some ways of separating mixtures. Let's see. In the first activity, you performed an example of physical manipulation. We will discuss more of this as we continue. physical manipulation. Physical manipulation is a technique used in separating the components of a mixture by using the hand or any instrument. This process can be used only if the components of the mixture are big enough to be seen and picked up by hands or other picking instruments. You use this process in cleaning the rice before cooking. You use your hand to remove stones and other foreign objects mixed with the rice grains. Do you know other mixtures that could be separated through physical manipulation? List them down in your answer sheet. What are examples of activities which we apply physical manipulation? Can you name some? We use this technique to remove stones and other foreign objects mixed in the rice grains before cooking. We also use this to separate the coffee brands from the coffee beans. We pick colorful pebbles from river sand for decorations too. There are lots of things we separate using our hands or picking materials, and we do this one every day. But why do we use this technique? The first reason, it doesn't need any special machinery for the separation of substances. Another reason, it takes less time when used for small quantity. The next technique of separating mixture is evaporation. This technique is commonly used to separate solid components of solution by making the liquid component evaporate. As the mixture is heated, the volatile substance evaporates at a temperature that is lower than the boiling point of water. The heated liquid absorbs the heat and changes to vapor. The non-volatile substance stays at the container. Evaporation is used to produce salt by evaporating seawater under the sun. Study the picture. Let us study how to separate components of solution using the technique evaporation. First step, put the solution in a pan and place it on top of heat source. Second step, let it boil until all the water evaporates, leaving the solid particles in the pan. Third, turn off the source of heat when only crystallized solute was left in the pan. What are the importance of evaporation? It is used to evaporate in many products. It is used to create concentrates such as juice concentrates. It is also used to dry whey or lactose into powders which can be used in new products like infant formulas or protein shakes. It is also used to produce dried fruits and vegetables. Another importances of evaporation are, it is also used to produce salt. It makes our body cool because of the perspiration and evaporation that happens when we feel hot because of the warm weather. Do you have any question or clarification about our lesson? Feel free to ask your parents, guardians, or elder siblings. You may also contact your teacher. If you think you understood the lesson, you may now proceed to the exercises and assessments. 3 sets of activities and assessments are provided for you to enhance your learning. Answer them according to their order. Please don't skip any of them. Use separate answer sheet to write your answers. You may compare your answers on the answer key on page 14 of this module for you to determine if you can proceed to the next part of the module or you need to watch again this video. If you're done with the activities and assessments on the What's More part, you may proceed to the generalization on page 10 for the summary of what you have learned. Relate our lesson with your daily activities through the What Can I Do part. Then, take the post-assessment after. Through this part, you would be able to determine if you attained the learning objectives or not. If your score is 10, you may do the additional activity. If it is 9 or 8, read again the part where you think you did not understand and answer again the question. If your score is 7 or below, watch again this video or contact your teacher for clarifications, then answer the post-assessment after. I hope you learned a lot from this video. See you again in the next module. Have a good day!
Great morning, learners! Welcome to our second session with representative elements, but this time with its compounds. What compounds are formed when family A elements combine? This blank periodic table will guide us to determine the location of the elements that belongs to representative elements. All elements that are placed in the colored blue cubes belong to representative elements. The elements found at the middle are called transition metals, which you will later learn as you proceed to higher grades. Before we discuss further, let us look at first the focus of this discussion. We shall focus our discussion with number 1. Trace the possible combinations of familiar representative elements. Then, we shall explore the combining capacity of the representative elements. Let us now look at the elements that belong to the representative groups which can form common compounds. What do you notice with this periodic table? Yes, there are positive and negative numbers above each column. The positive one above column 1 speaks of the number or the capacity of the element to combine, meaning to say it can donate 1 electron so that a compound will be formed. For elements below family 2A, they have positive 2. This means they can donate 2 electrons to another element so they will form compounds. And so with the rest of the elements. Let's have an example. Hydrogen, which belongs to family 1A, has 1 electron to donate. When electron of hydrogen combines with oxygen, they form H2O, or water molecules. That is why you have there 2 below H, because it needs to donate 2 electrons, which oxygen will also accept. Another example of an element that comes from family 1A is Na, or sodium. It has an atomic number of 11, but it can only donate 1 electron, as indicated by positive 1 above the column. When sodium combines with 1 electron of chlorine, they form a compound we commonly call salt. So salt is an example of a compound which is formed by the combination of a representative element. Salt is a common compound which is formed from the combination of 2 representative elements. What makes it possible for these elements to combine? As we have said, they combine because of the presence of electrons that can be donated and accepted by these elements. Let's have an example of this using formula. So when hydrogen, which has positive 1, meaning to say it can donate 1 electron, combines with 2 electrons of oxygen, it needs 2 hydrogen to form the 2 molecule of water. Another example using the symbols, we have sodium combining with chlorine, needing 1 electron, they will form sodium chloride. You notice with this formula that there are no more numbers as a subscript. It is simply because the positive and negative will cancel out. In this symbol, you can no longer see subscripts. Why? It is simply because sodium donated 1 electron and chlorine accepted 1 electron. So there is no need to write the subscript of 1. What have you noticed with the combining capacity of the representative elements? We have here a definition of the combining capacity. An element's combining capacity is the number of electrons it needs to gain or lose in order to gain or attain stable ion. It is also the subsequent ionic charge that the element possesses. Take note that the combining capacity will be used later on to predict chemical formulas, so it is essential that you know how to figure them out, just like what we have done in the example. Let's go back once more to our periodic table. So this is our periodic table. The positive 1 and the positive 2 are the metals that loses electrons. For positive 3 or elements under family 3A, they also lose electrons. For 4A family up to 7A family, these are nonmetals who gain electrons. So this is the combining capacity of the elements. It is also known as the ionic charge of elements. Let's again use these examples. You notice with the formula formed by this compound, which is lithium oxide. Lithium has a subscript of 2 because it needs to donate 2 electrons, while oxygen has no subscript because it accepted 2 electrons. The same with sodium and chlorine. When they form the compound sodium chloride, there is no more subscript when their symbols are written. The formula shows that the element's combining capacity refers to the number of electrons that needs to gain or lose in order to become stable. So you notice salt now is a stable compound. That is why we can hold it. I hope you will enjoy learning more of the combining capacity of the representative elements in your module. Good luck and thank you.
Hello, our dear Math Explorer. How are you today? I am Teacher Jomar. At this point, we will be learning how to solve routine and non-routine problems involving multiplication without or with addition and subtraction of fractions. Don't worry, I will help you get through the challenging activities. One thing more, you will be working together with your learning buddy. It could be your father, your mother, your sibling, or any adult who can assist you in answering the different learning tasks. This is the module that you are going to use. It is intended for grade 5 learners like you. You are encouraged to actively engage yourself in exploring the module. Read the directions carefully and do the learning activities provided. Before the main points and activities in your module, make sure to answer the 10-item test under What I Know to measure how much you know about the lesson that we will have. Previously, you learned in your math class on how to multiply fraction. Why don't we have them again? Consider this example. To get the answer, we simply multiply the numerators and then the denominators. And as we always say, reduce answers to lowest term whenever possible. Therefore, if we are going to multiply 3/4 times 4/5, that will be 3 times 4, we got 12, and 4 times 5, we got 20. And then, reduce the answer to lowest term, if it is possible. So in this case, 12 over 20 is possible, so reduce it to 3/5. I know you still remember the process. Now, what if the fraction is a mixed number? That means it has a whole number part, and we are directed to multiply the numerators, then the denominators only. Say we have 2/5 times 2 and 1/3. I know you still remember the process. So all we have to do is change first the mixed number to improper fraction. Then, follow the steps we had earlier. So in this example, 2/5 times 2 and 1/3, we will change first 2 and 1/3 to improper fraction. So in that case, 2 and 1/3 will be changed to 7 over 3, or 7/3. After that, we can now proceed in multiplying. 2/5 times 7 over 3rd, that will be 14 over 15. And whenever you multiply a fraction to a whole number, just make that whole number a fraction by annexing 1 as its denominator. You may browse the What's In part in your module for more examples. Let's keep going. I have here a poem for you, and for me, and for your learning body. Let's read it together. It is titled, One Step at a Time. Before you start solving on your paper, read and understand first the problem offered. Know what the problem is asking for. Then identify the given facts which you think are helpful. For the operation to be used, check for any word clue in the problem. Is it addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, or all of them? Sometimes in the problem, it requires more than one operation. So go back to the problem, read and understand it once more. When what is asked and the given facts are done, and the operation to be used is already at hand, combine these figures with the operation you chose to know the number sentence that you will use. Perform the indicated operation, and when we are almost done, solve neatly on your paper while you are having fun. Once you arrive at your final answer with sense, double-check your procedure and state final answer in complete sentence. What are the 6 important steps mentioned in the poem which are used in solving word problems? Let's have them one by one. Here are the steps in solving word problems. First, know what the problem is asking for. Then, identify the given facts. Third, identify the operation to be used. Then write the number sentence. After that, solve or perform the indicated operation. And finally, state your final answer in complete sentence. Let us consider this problem. There are 7/8 kilograms of salt in the kitchen. Mrs. Jackson used 2 over 15 of the salt when she was preparing dinner. How much salt did she use? Let us use the steps in solving word problems. First, let's identify what is asked. So in the problem, what is asked is the amount of salt Mrs. Jackson used. What are the given facts? 7/8 kilograms of salt in the kitchen and 2/15 of the salt used for dinner. And the operation to be used is multiplication. Take note that to identify the operation to be used, you need to find for the word clues. Next one, is to combine our given facts and the operation we identified, and that is the number sentence. So in this case, our number sentence is 7/8 times 2/15 equals n. After that, we will solve, going back to the process on how to multiply fraction. 7 times 2, which are the numerators, that is 14. And 8 times 15, which are the denominators, that is 120. And reducing it further to lowest term, we get 7/60. Therefore, for our complete answer, we will have Mrs. Jackson used 7/60 kilograms of salt when she was preparing for dinner. Now let's try another problem. In each plot, Florence uses 2/5 of the space in planting pechay, while 1/5 of the same space is planted with cabbage. If there is a 15 square meter space in the farm of Florence, what is the total area planted with pechay and cabbage? Now let's try an illustration for this problem. So there are 15 square meter space. So it is represented by the 15 blocks. And it says there in the problem, we have 2/5 planted with pechay and 1/5 planted with cabbage. So it is represented in our figure. Now going back and using our steps in solving word problems, let's try to see if they will arrive at the same answer. For what is asked, the problem is asking for the total space or area planted with pechay and cabbage. For the given facts, I have here a question for you, which is not given in the problem. You have 4 choices. Which one is not given in the problem? Very good. That's letter D. 3 liters of water. It's not in the problem. Next, what operation should be used to answer the problem? So we will use addition and multiplication. Combining now the given facts and the operation we identified, we will have now our number sentence. So in this case, it is the quantity 2/5 plus 1/5 multiplied to 15 equals D. And to solve, remember your PEMDAS. We have an expression inside the parentheses. So let's solve it first. That is 2/5 plus 1/5, we will get 3/5 multiplied to 15. And 15 is a whole number, so we will annex 1 to make it a fraction. So that will become 3/5 times 15/1 equals 45/5. So we will get 9 as our answer. Stating the complete answer, we will have the area planted with pechay and cabbage is 9 square meters. Now going back to our illustration, it is the same. There are 9 blocks in our illustration. Wow! That was tough! But I know you can do the next set of activities in your module. Read the directions carefully and finish all the tasks presented in your module. Good luck and have a wonderful time accomplishing the activities.
Magandang araw! Ako si Ginang Marina S. Labotan, ang iyong guro sa Araling Panlipunan, Ikalawang Baitang. Ang module na ito ay inakda at inilarawan ni Ginang Crescencia W. Yong N. May papakita ako sa inyong larawan. Tignan itong mabuti. Ano ang masasabi mo tungkol sa larawan? Tama! Ito ay mga sakuna, sunog at bagyo. Handa ka na bang makinig? Salamat naman kung ikaw ay handa na. Bago natin simulan, kunin muna ang iyong module. Makikita mo sa bahaging subukin, may 5 katanungan na susubok sa iyong kaalaman tungkol sa bagong aralin. Sagutin mo ito sa module ng may katapatan. Kapag natapos na, ay iwasto ang iyong sagot at isang guni sa susing sagot na nasa huling pahina. Sa module na ito, tatalakayin natin ang pagsasagawa ng mga wastong gawain, pagkilos sa tahanan at paaralan sa panahon ng kalamidad. Ngayon, may papakita akong larawan. Ano ito? Magaling! Ito ang dapat nating gawin pag may lindol. Bakit kailangan gawin natin ito? Tama! Para malayo tayo sa kapahamakan. Ito naman. Tama! Ito ang dapat gawin kapag nasusunog ang damit. May paghahandang gawain o pagkilos bago dumating ang alinmang kalamidad sa tahanan, paaralan o saan man. Mag-imbak ng mga pagkain at tubig na tatagal ng 3 araw. Maghanda ng first aid kit na may paracetamol, betadine, bulak, gunting, alcohol at iba pa. Maghanda ng flashlight, baterya, radyo, kandila, posporo at uling, damit ng bata, kumot at lubid. Ayusin ang mga bahagi ng tirahan na maaring mapanganib sa panahon ng kalamidad. Sumali sa mga disaster drill na isinasagawa sa paaralan o sa komunidad. Meron din tayong mga hakbang sa disaster drill. Una, makinig sa warning signal. Maagang babala sa mga parating na peligro. Ang batingaw, megaphone, watawat at iba pa. Isagawa ang duck or drop, sumilong o kumubli sa ilalim ng matitigas na bagay. Cover, lagyan ng pananggalang ang ulo gamit ang kamay o matitigas na bagay. Hold, manatili sa posisyon hanggang ligtas sa panganib. Lumisan sa loob ng gusali sa pinakamalapit na labasan. Pumunta sa itinalagang ligtas na lugar o assembly point. Meron din tayong mga gagawin habang may kalamidad sa panahon ng sakuna. Una, manatiling makinig ng balita o babala sa radyo o telebisyon. Pangalawa, iwasan ang paglabas o pamamasyal sa ilog, bundok, at iba bang delikadong lugar kung di kailangan. Pangatlo, isara ang main switch ng kuryente. Putulin ang daloy nito. Pang-apat, isagawa ang natutunan sa disaster drill. Pang-5, manatili sa loob ng bahay kung kinakailangan upang maging ligtas. Pang-6, lumikas kaagad ng bahay kung kailangan at pumunta sa itinilagang evacuation center o ligtas na lugar. Pang-7, iwasan ang dumadaloy na tubig, matataas na puno, poste o gusali. Pang-8, manatiling mahinahon sa lahat ng sandali. Pang-9, huwag magusyoso sa puok ng sakuna. Pang-10, sumilong sa matitigas na bagay at mag-ingat sa bumabagsak na anumang bagay. May mga gagawin din pagkatapos ng kalamidad. Una, huwag pumasok o bumalik sa mga napinsalang gusali. Kalawa, huwag sumuong o pumasok sa panganib. Katlo, bumalik lamang sa bahay kung pinapayagan na ng autoridad. Kaapat, huwag munang buksan ang kuryente hanggat di pa ito nasusuri. Panglima, mag-ingat sa mga aftershock ng lindol at iba pang epekto ng anumang sakuna. Pang-anim, ayusin at linisin ang mga nasirang bagay o gamit. Pampito, makinig sa iba pang babala at paalala mula sa autoridad. Pangwalo, sumali sa kalusugang pangkaisipan, disaster education sa paaralan at komunidad na isinasagawa. Dapat lahat laging handa upang buhay ay ligtas sa sakuna. Makikita mo sa pagyamanin na may iba't ibang gawain tulad ng pinatnubayang gawain 1, pagtatasawan, pinatnubayang gawain 2, malayang gawain 1, malayang gawain 2, at pagtatasa 2. Makikita mo din ang isaisip, isagawa, at tayahin. Ngayon, kunin mo ang iyong module at sagutin ang iba pang mga gawaing naihanda. Ang lahat ng mga gawain dito ay gagawin mo sa loob ng 4 na araw. Kung may bahaging hindi mo naintindihan, maaari mong ulitin ang video o magtanong sa iyong guro sa pamamagitan ng text message. Pwede kang gabayan ng iyong mga magulang, kapatid, o iba pang kamag-anak sa bahay. Inaasahan ko na matatapos mo ang iyong module sa naibigay na takdang araw. Naway marami kang natutunan ngayon. Hanggang sa susunod na aralin.
Ayasak Di Kabenguetan.